Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Aligning with Success. I'm your host, Mike DiMuccio, Royal Diamond with Nikken. It is July 30th, 2018. I can't believe we're 7 months into 2018. It seems like we were just celebrating Christmas and New Year's yesterday. But this call, we have a lot of interesting shares, if you will. And I especially hope that those who were in attendance at the event in Orlando, who are either already on or who jump in on this call, participate in this. This is a share call. We have a lot of information to share. We might have some questions from those who were not in attendance, as you're probably getting some emails and text messages circulating and you're wanting to get some clarity on certain things. I can just tell you this. Well, from my perspective, and of course I'm somebody who has a lot of skin in the game, so I'm more critical than most when it comes to choices, decisions, things that the company does. I know you guys see me a lot online with Kurt Foley and our romantic dinners together and so forth, but we really do talk business, and we're friends, and we're also colleagues, and we really look at things with a fine-tooth comb. And I have to tell you, the response, if you just base it on the response from the people in Orlando of the announcements that were made, I think everybody's really, really, really excited about our future. I don't know why it'd have to take this long to get to where we are right now, but whatever. Things sometimes have to take their time, go through their processes, go through their changes, and in order for us, I mean, if you think about a chrysalis, I think that's what they call it, when a caterpillar goes inside and creates a chrysalis and it sits in there and it comes out a butterfly. It doesn't even look at all like a caterpillar. So that process is a process of transformation. It takes time, but the result is always magnificent. And so I think we're in that metamorphosis stage with Nikken. I know you've probably heard us ring that bell before, because we thought we were at that point, but it was a change, and it was a change toward the point that we're now at. So all these changes seem to be leading to a moment in time, and something Dave Rolfe had to say at the event in Orlando, which essentially is consensus. If we can get everybody on the same page and reach a consensus of one kind or another, then based on that consensus, we will have momentum. That could be a favorable thing, or that could be a downturn. That could be a negative thing. In this case, I feel unanimous, and based on and I'm going to ask those of you who are in Orlando to please share. I believe that we have quite a unanimous positive with respect to these changes, because these changes in the comp plan, in the way we do business, can be like a rocket ship. It seems subtle, but it can actually have a very, very accelerating effect on our business. I just want to say, yes, the queue is gone as of August 1st, and we'll discuss what you need to know about that. But I think the queue served a very valuable purpose for this organization at the time we were in order to become really a company that was conscientious about customers, the value of customers, the value of paying retail for products, the value of selling the products at retail. So we were not undermining our price list, which I hate when people try to recruit people just so they can buy wholesale. I'm hoping that this change by deleting the queue doesn't delete or negate our method of operating and encouraging people to pay retail for retail price, so that we don't undermine that thing. But I think what contrasts that, what helps us stay on point where that's concerned, is the notion that we're going to get paid retail profits weekly. That's going to be, the first cycle begins August 1, which means we go through the first 7 days. That's a cycle, and it'll be paid out, I believe it's the Friday of the next cycle. So always kind of like a week or two behind. Well, it's a week behind the cycle. So just think of it that way. You work for a week, you get paid the following week. So that idea, then every week when you're doing retail, you'll start generating a retail commission. Of course, you only get that if you actually sell retail. So I think the culture of Nikken has been firmly established, and I want to maintain the culture and keep that dialogue alive and well, that we do have a retail price list. We do have a product that's worth paying retail for and charging retail for. And now we have that added incentive of being able to show people how they can make immediate cash flow and start generating weekly income. So I think that's really, really critical. That's just one of the major announcements that's happening. That means with the elimination of the queue, you can purchase products at wholesale in your ID number. A new person can purchase products at wholesale in their ID number, and it will count towards rank advancement and qualification. So no longer is the retail sale only required for advancements in rank. Now, I know over the last month or so, as a matter of fact, Nikken has been pretty much open to the idea of you placing an order and shipping it to yourself if it was at retail. But now you can place an order and ship it to yourself at wholesale and still have the benefit of those volume points for your rank advancement, your qualifications, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really great thing, because then when it comes to the business, when we come to talk about the business or offer the business, there's a real simple line of demarcation. You're either a customer or you're a consultant, and there's benefits associated with either. And those benefits are clearly defined, no mystery, no needing to talk circles around the issue of, well, we should buy it at retail and ship it to your neighbor or any of that stuff. So that eliminates any of the roadblocks that we had in that. Now, before we get into any of the other announcements, we've got a number of you who've joined the call who were in Orlando. So please, let's take a moment to get the best of the best. I'd like to hear from you if you were in Orlando, if you had one or two real important takeaways or just your impressions. I know we've got Igor Grundle, who has not been on this call. So I'm very, very happy to see Royal Diamond Igor Grundle from Sarasota, Florida, jump on the call. I don't know. I guess you're not really in Sarasota, are you? Are you in Sarasota, or are you just below Sarasota? You're muted. Say again.
In Sarasota.
Oh, sorry, you are. Okay. Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking Tampa. You're not in Tampa.
Tampa, and then below
right.
Tampa.
Right. That's it. That's it. Okay. Get my orientation right. So Igor, you came to this event maybe with some hesitation, reservation, because you just don't know. Is it going to be another one of those events? What was it for you as a Royal Diamond, somebody who's been in the business as long as you have? Does this have an impact on you?
Well, every event has an impact, and going to an event is always good to reconnect and to get updated and to get some energy. This time around, I have to say, from a business standpoint, a business point of view, it was very important for me, because that has been has not worked out very well for me. I had a specific way how I built my business, and there were specific aspects that I needed to see or that I believe needed to be in place for that to happen. And one of them was, of course, the pacts, and another one was, of course, that the own wholesale volume that you purchase yourself or use that helps you in your building. So that was in my mindset all these years. So when that fell away, I had a very, very hard time to adjust to it. Now, when I saw the changes, I was like very excited, because I was like, oh my goodness, this is great for me, because it really fits into how I know how to build a business. And I felt so invigorated that even before I left, I've been texting to people. I set appointments up, and I don't know. I mean, I have been thinking about it. Is it because there are some things that were similar than before? And that's why I'm very thankful for Mike talking about the necessity of the queue and why in that specific time frame it was important to do. I also had the privilege, and I utilize it every time I go to the events, to sit down with Kurt, and we talk, and he's very open, that from Mike, who meets him quite often, and he is always very open. I spent 3.5 hours with him during the event, and it was wonderful. And I could just, get a better sense, okay, where's the company at, and how did the changes come about? And it really filled me with great excitement and with great empowerment for what is about to happen with Nikken, with these implementations. I had today also my call in Europe several people. It was a relatively large crowd that came aboard because they wanted to hear too what came about, what was new. And it was almost for a lot of people that were in longer, a sigh of relief. They were like, oh my goodness, this is so good to hear. I feel, that I can go out there now. And it's very funny because since Friday and Monday, there was not much that changed. The products were still the same. They still work the same. The PV is still the same. It's just little things that have changed that make a big difference. And I think, what we have seen are some important aspects that needed to be changed, because they give empowerment, and they give hope, and they give excitement to people.
Awesome. Wow. Well, I can sense your excitement, Igor. It's really great to have you as part of this call, and I hope you make this part of your schedule as well. We love to share on this call. It's not my call, it's our call. And every once in a while, we'll hear something that can be a game changer from someone like that. Let me just see if I can isolate that. Yes, I can. All right. All right. So who else was in Orlando that would like to share? Yes, Connie.
Okay. It really was powerful. And they talked about power and purpose a lot. And Bernadette McBurney had a quote, "Make your vision so clear that your fears become irrelevant." And that was very empowering to me. Talking to people and actually opening my mouth. Susan Carver was talking about earning a living and living your purpose. A lot of talk about purpose and power and passion with everything you do. And the speakers were so good. I loved the round tables. That was great, just to be able to ask questions. And I mean, you're with the top of the tops, and what better education is that? So both Tom and I came away very very up and ready to go.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, by the way, the round tables, figures you would mention that, because that was the one thing that I missed because I was out to dinner with our CEO that night. But I heard nothing but great things about it. As always, we love that personal up close and interaction. Get your personal questions answered firsthand. So Toronto is going to have a roundtable discussion as well. And you see the deck is stacked with diamonds and royal diamonds that are going to be there. So I don't even think we have enough tables to accommodate all these superstars. You'll probably have 2 or 3 diamonds and royal diamonds at each table. So that'll be a good one for Toronto. Thanks for bringing that up. You mentioned something, though. I just want to share something real quick with you, because I did a PowerPoint for the event. No surprise there. And I turned it off. So forget that. I had to reboot my computer. I forgot the PowerPoint closed. Okay, never mind that. Anyone else who would like to share?
Mike, it's Madeline.
Go ahead, Madeline.
Okay, thank you. What I really appreciate, 2 things. One is the agenda that Ben had set up with an outline with a purpose, and each speaker went back and reviewed or connected to the previous speaker. That they carried the theme through and integrated into whatever they were covering. So it was a real nice edification of one speaker to the other. There was a wonderful blend of new people, young people, their stories, and the flow felt like the energy and the vibrations in a Humans Being More. There wasn't that competitiveness. There was a lot of talk about humility and lessons learned and transparency of where it could be felt at the vibrational level. And I did help with the Humans Being More on Sunday until about 2:30 when I had to leave. And that was the carryover discussion there also. That was a group of 16 about the feeling, just the milieu of the environment, but the connection, every speaker being very respectful of who preceded them and just tying it in.
And thank you for that. And by the way, one of the most amazing things was that most of the speakers, if not all of the speakers, were on time by 1 or 2 minutes. And that's really hard to achieve when you are trying to get all that content in and try to be dynamic. One of the aspects of the event was some dynamics that were not in other events, which included panels, included interaction with the audience, it included interviewing and just video, just some type of more than just an announcement or a presentation. So that was really impressive. I think that everybody did such a great job of really honing their skill as
make it easy to get there,
making it an important part of their presentation to be professional. And they did it. I think they covered it all. Who else jumped in and wanted to share? Yes, I see Michelle's hand. Go ahead, Michelle. And then, is that Linda?
Yeah.
We'll get to you in a second. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, many takeaways from this event. It was wonderful. Definitely purpose-driven. We are a service business for sure. Rebecca from Mexico, I think she's from Mexico, she did point out we don't need to know it all. Tap into the skills of our team. We are all very diverse, and we have skills that we can create a very, very powerful team when we work collaboratively. I thought that was really cool, she mentioning that. And I like what Dave Johnson said, that our company is a business to open a franchise for only $99. We're able to open a franchise business model for only $99. I thought that was really cool how he said that. There was a lot of very active presentations. So the audience was participating in the presentations, which I thought was fun. It kept people alert and interested. You did it with the car and the changing of seats, and Sherry Danzig did it creating a platinum through clarity, and she showed how bringing people into your organization, how quickly it can build. I thought that was powerful too. It was a great event.
Fantastic. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Michelle. I saw, did somebody else have their hand up? Yes. I can't tell if that's Linda or Glinda.
It's Nancy Lindblom on my husband's computer. So
he can't spell, but okay, I get you. Come on in. Tell us what your experience was.
I was not able to go for the whole Orlando event, but Madeline encouraged me to go for the day because I'm 2 hours away. And at the last minute, I called Ben and I got a ticket, and one of my consultants, but only a customer, came with me. We were only there for Friday, but just listening, she got to talk to Gary Linder, Dr. Gary Linder, and Madeline, and thank you, Madeline, for encouraging me. She is so excited. We spent the weekend together going through a lot of stuff. We're going to Toronto. She's ready. Just seeing a few hours of the wonderful speakers that were there, and it was so worth just seeing a little bit. I wish I could have been there for the whole weekend, but I'll be there for Toronto with Mary.
Fantastic. I want to highlight something about that point you're making, because I think it's the point that we were trying to make in a call or two ago when we talked about the ABC. The value of introducing someone to more than one A. And what you had was you had a whole host of A's to share with this person. And I don't know how much of what they said she even remembers, but I'm pretty sure she got a feeling from the experience of these people, their sense of purpose and passion and conviction, that was overwhelmingly clear to her that this was an amazing place to be. So keep that in mind when it comes to ABCs. These events are incredible ABCs, incredible lock-in events, but you don't have to wait for one every year or one every 6 months to make a point of introducing people to multiple A's. That's the key to the business. That is absolutely the key to the success that you'll have in this business is how good are you at introducing people to people? It's almost impossible to think it's that simple, but it is. And that's the evidence of it. Thank you. Do we have somebody else who wants to share? Yes, Wes. Wes from Chicago.
Yeah, actually it's Park Ridge. It's right next to Chicago.
Okay. For those of us from Canada, it's Chicago.
Yeah, well, you could say O'Hare too. I'm right between Chicago and O'Hare. Now that we did all that talking. I wonder what I was going to say.
Tell us about what you gained from this event. What insights?
I think more than anything else, what you get is you start to meet and talk with more people, and you find more A's for your ABCs.
Great point.
I think that's really important. The other thing, I was so happy to see Kurt there. He was there the whole time, and he was open, talked to everybody, and it was really reassuring. And another one, if I can talk about Dave Rolfe. It was good to see him, and I thought he had some interesting comments. And can I talk about those a little bit?
Sure. What did you find that was valuable there?
Well, I thought he was talking about the millennials, and he was talking about the three things that.
Please. Yeah.
I thought that was really important, and he talked about they want to have a home. And then they want to be debt-free, which means they want to get the home paid off and everything else. And then they want to build a retirement. Those three things. And you know what? They're no different from the rest of us.
It turns out that those are the top three for each of the demographics, is what he said, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't care what demographic you have. And, even people that are retired, what they really want are the extras in life that make life worth living. And I don't care how much they make, they still need some extras. So maybe that's a way to talk to them. And another thing he talked about was, thinking big. And I think that came from Ben, too. Ben talked quite a bit about thinking bigger. And it brought to mind a quote. It started stirring an old quote in the back of my mind, and I had to look it up, and I did find it, and I'm going to repeat it. It's, make no small plans. They have no magic to stir men's souls. Isn't that something?
That's beautiful. That's the C line.
That was Spencer Kimball. But it's, when you're talking to people, you got to find out what's a little bit of a stretch for them. And for some, it's $2,000 a month, having something extra. For others, it might be $5,000. It's whatever they want, and you can show people how to do it. And so I don't know. I think I'm going to focus more on the business. I mean, I've got all the health stuff under my belt. It's time to move on with the business and build a team. The whole the franchise model is really important for all of us, I think.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely. Robert Kiyosaki talks about this extensively. He talks about the idea that if we're not leveraging our time, then we are going to be stuck on the left-hand side of the equation. Most people have never been educated any other way, so they don't even know that there's an option. So yeah, you might have to go through a learning curve with them. Yeah, you might meet some resistance, but hey, that's our job. Our job is to help people see what we've seen. And some of us didn't see it first. Some took a while. Doesn't matter. Help people see what you see. That's it. Share your vision, make that connection, and then
keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty simple actually, and we do tend to complicate it. Yeah. That's why I changed the way I talk about the process as there's three conversations. Now you can have them all at one time. You can spread it out, but there's essentially three conversations that have to happen. Why, how, what? Why should we sit down and talk about anything at all? Which is the opportunity, the way that somebody can improve their life, and you're looking for that way. 2, how are you going to help me improve my life? What do you got? And then 3, what's it take? What's it going to take for me to get involved and stay involved? If you can have those 3 conversations and then get the assist from an A or multiple A's, job done.
And keep it fun. Let's have fun with this. And don't let anybody get caught up on all the business aspects of it. It's just fun, It's about, hey, make some extra money and get healthy and have fun with it,
Wow, sounds pretty good to me. Where do I join? Wait, I already did.
Oh, did you already say it?
Hey, you know what else was interesting for those of you who were there and those of you who weren't? There were many guests. This was a leadership, and people were coming in from across the country as guests. Some weren't even signed up. I had one myself, third level actually, who wasn't even registered yet as a consultant, who was there, who was first introduced to Nikken last Wednesday, made the decision to come to Orlando Tuesday and was there for the event. So, man, you never know when somebody's going to show up. They could show up at the last minute, and there's no reason in the world why they wouldn't jump on a plane and go across the country if it was meaningful. So keep that in mind where Toronto's concerned. Anyone else who was there want to share? Yes, Barb.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I had 4 people there. And just like you've been saying, and I know that the more that you introduce people to other people, the bigger vision they have. And so when you're at an event like that, I mean, that's taken probably years worth of me doing anything with anybody, to have met everybody, heard everything, and saw the energy and the collaboration. Plus, it really was good energy that whole weekend. It was phenomenal. Not only was it good content, but it just felt good. So, and I love just a little practical thing. Susan Carver, she's always so wonderful, and she tells it like it is. But I loved her analogy, and Mary's on the line here too. She could share. When you take objections off the table, everybody comes, and she did this kind of had a plate. Everybody's got their plate full, so you don't need to be adding to their plate because they can't handle something else. And so when objections come up, she just goes at that at the very beginning. So if they're talking time, money, just say at the very beginning, I understand this is what's going on. And if you just give me 30 minutes, and at the end of 30 minutes, if this isn't a fit for you, then that's fine. So that was just another little thing that would make it easier, I think, for you to address people and their objections. So I found that powerful. And the other thing she said was, you're not bringing another thing to the table. You're offering them a 10 or 20% pay raise. So that was just another little thing. And obviously there's lots to go, so there's probably other people that can share. So.
Cool. Well, Carol, thank you, Barb. Carol, I know you had your hand up a few times, so why don't you jump in here? Carol,
yes, there will be background noise. I'm a place where it's a little challenging, but Paulina and Rebecca and Alejandro were so powerful, and their whole presence was so engaging, their stories so powerful. One of the things that they said was, commit and make your decision. And if it's 4 hours, then do it. If it's 1 hour that you can do, then do it. But just make the commitment, and then make sure that you are having the discipline to follow your command. And what I got out of Alejandro was there's many kinds of freedom. And she told this powerful story about her mother has cancer, and her mother's in Nikken and has she's Royal Diamond, I'm sure, and her what she has earned is paying for her cancer care because her insurance or whatever was canceled. And so then everybody on the team, all of her kids or whoever's on the team, they are helping their mother by doing the business that gives her more income so that she can care for herself. And that really hit home to me as very powerful. And Susan Carver was explaining how our don't confuse purpose and passion, and to discern your fundamental purpose. And she gave us questions that will help us have crystal clear clarity on what our fundamental purpose is. And that is the glue that carries us through the ups and the downs of the business. That will keep us is when we have a strong purpose.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carol. Wow. Okay. This is all good stuff. This is like a whole seminar in a week. Elaine, you've got your hand up.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Elaine Matthews. I had a guest that came at the last minute she wasn't a guest, she's a consultant. She's my new executive. And she just, at the last week, she just decided to come. I was in California, and she was corresponding with me, and she decided to come. And oh my goodness, she talked to everybody that was there. And she got so excited about Nikken and the opportunity. And coming home, she said, I'm doing an event next Tuesday, and I have all these people I want to invite. I mean, she is on fire with this. Well, on the plane from Chicago to Orlando, a lady sat in the middle I was at the window, and you know, we finally both slept, and then we woke up, and anyway, she's a retired RN, and I invited her to come, and didn't she show up Saturday afternoon? I was so impressed. I mean, don't give up, folks. Just keep talking. That's all I can tell you.
That's fantastic.
And she up, and she was a singer at the, you know, was singing with Susan Carver and by herself. Her name was Sislin, and she's from the Orlando area. She's a retired RN, and she is excited about all the fun and all the people and all she learned. So
I think she
it was
took the microphone away from you.
Pardon me?
She took the microphone away from our rock star. She took the floor over.
She was awesome.
When she was singing, yeah.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
when she was singing.
Well, that's awesome, guys. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Mike, I just need to add the fun night at karaoke. Mike is a rock star. That guy has a voice. You should have heard him out there. He and Susan Carver. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank
Beautiful.
you. Hey, before we get too far gone here, I just want to get a few more of the announcements in. So some of the other things that were announced was obviously what is the incentive. So we've got the queue is no longer an issue. We've got retail commissions being paid weekly. Guys, that's so huge. You know, if you got to wait a whole month to see the results, if people can get that sooner, it starts to multiply. People will want more of what they're getting. So it starts to accelerate the activity. And that can, in a business like ours, that can compound into something very, very big. We also have now the information as to why are we doing our 500 PV this month. And if you haven't told everybody in your downline, if you haven't insisted they do their 500, here's why you want to encourage that to happen. Nikken is launching packs. Simplify the business with packs. What a wonderful thing to have. And we're going to have an energy pack. We're going to have an energy pack, the water pack, and sleep pack. I'm just getting some background noise. I want to hit that number here. Yes, that's what it is. Okay. And with these packs, by the way, if you haven't done the math, it's 10% off the retail price. And for the water pack, if somebody joins the business and purchases a water pack within the first 30 days of joining the business, they're going to get their shipping free for that water pack. So that makes it extremely likely that that's a pack that's going to be encouraged and people are going to take advantage of. And it's a great way to start the business, start the experience of the Nikken Wellness Home, because we want to get them engaged in that whole concept. There's a beginning and no end to a wellness home. So let's get them started with something that makes the most sense. That's very obvious. It's low-hanging fruit, doesn't require a lot of explaining, and there's all kinds of benefits in terms of the cost. But for those of us who do 500 points in the month of July, this month, we got another day to go, then we get to play another game in August, and that game is we get to offer those water packs. We get to offer not just the water packs, but all the packs for free shipping. That means we can utilize that for ourselves, and we can offer it to any of our customers. Any packs purchased in our ID number as a registered customer, a new customer, or yourself, any of those packs, they get free shipping on. And the packs are already discounted 10% off retail. So this is a really good deal, guys. And you want to definitely activate that. Yes, Wes?
I think we have to call those in, don't we?
However we have to do it, we do it.
Yeah.
If the system isn't able to handle it, they're not there yet. They're just not there where this will be automated. And I know that is something they are working on, because I know that that's something Kurt really doesn't like. He doesn't like things that require that, because it's not only effort on your part, it's effort on the company's part to have to field those calls. Yeah. So we'll get through that.
Mike, what did you say about the a new customer joining in the water pack?
Yeah, you can offer this to a customer. Any product pack, any pack ordered in your ID, a customer is in your ID.
Yes.
Then.
But before you said that, did you say something else about if?
It was about a consultant. when a consultant buys a water pack in the first 30 days,
Yes.
then they also get free shipping.
So going forward, yeah.
That's for September.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's in September? That
Yes.
starts in September, right. Okay, thank you for that clarification. So that begins in September, I guess, as a way of operating. So what really Nikken's doing is they're saying, we're going to create a loss leader. We're going to create an incentive that will put front and center stage, we'll put an emphasis on this pack. Now, of course, it's not coming from nowhere. There's evidence that this pack, this combination of products, is in high demand, especially in the Latin American market. And with the interest of creating a new movement in North America, why not learn from where there's success happening? So that's another one of the announcements. Did I miss anything? Because I think there may be one or two more. Did I miss anything? Well, if I did, please jump. Yes, Carol.
The new bottle.
Duh, of course. Okay, so we have a new bottle, new water bottle. It has a new lid that is integrated into it, and it looks really cool. There's a little hook so that it can be held easily, and it can be clipped onto something easily. We have also a new filtration cartridge, which is ultra fine filtration. It's a nanotechnology that comes directly from NASA. So it's going to be equipped to handle, please help me with this stuff, you guys who know the details, the basically bacteria and some, whatever, anyway, cleans it right down. So it's a better filtration process. It also produces higher alkalinity. Did somebody have the actual verbiage? Yes, Barbara, you got your fingers up, your hands up.
Well, I don't have the verbiage. I have a question. Do you want me to wait?
Sure, no, go ahead, ask a question.
Okay, so I'm curious. In the past, I've had customers and consultants that have a hard time squeezing and sucking and getting the water out, and I'm curious if it's easier.
Well, I don't have one, so I can't comment on it. The only person who got to get one was yes, Igor?
Yes, I did talk with Kurt about that because I had the same question, Barbara. And this is what he said, you know, because our filtration system is so advanced, right, there will always have to be a sucking motion that needs to be involved. So the pressing motion is not going to be it's not going to be conducive for the way our bottles work. Though the seal is better on this bottle than at the old bottles. So it is a significant improvement, and you will really like it.
Thank you.
Fantastic. The question is, someone wants to know if water can be used in the bottle from a stream. I don't know that they would not put a disclaimer on that because it's supposed to be potable water. Oh, it also removes microplastics, which we know is in water and is getting into our system. And if you're using bottled water to fuel your water bottle, that's a plus as well. I can't answer the question about whether it can be taken from a stream, but my guess is if it's a freshwater stream, yes, that's probably very likely to be useful for that. Any other announcement that I missed? Okay, so we've got a lot of great tools, and judging from your excitement, all of you on the call who've spoken so far, clearly this feels different than it did a week ago. It feels different than it did before. And I know how energy works. Energy is if you can create consensus, if you can get enough people on the same page, feeling the same thing, which is excited about their future, and you're all talking about business, and you're all talking about bringing new people into the business, which is the life of our business, then what do you think is going to happen to your business and for Nikken North America? I did find that slide that I wanted to share with you. I noticed some people were sharing it on the photograph that they took of it. Some of you, hopefully you can see this. So somebody mentioned this earlier about fear. Faith and fear both, I think it was Connie. Faith and fear both demand that you believe in something you cannot see. It's your choice. So make a decision to believe in something that you cannot see with faith, which would be a positive thing, right? So this slide seems to have made its way into Facebook. I mentioned the C line. Wes, you were talking about going for something big. Here, let me see if I don't know if you guys can see this. But anyway, the C line is basically the big idea. Go after something that really turns you on. Because if your vision is small to the point where it's like, well, you know, I'd like to make a few more dollars, or I'd like to have a little bit more. There's just not enough energy in that. There's not enough. It's not going to draw the best of you. It's like an elastic band. If you don't stretch the elastic band, there's no tension in the band. There's nothing pulling it in any direction. The more you stretch that elastic band, the more tension is in the band, and therefore the more energy in the system. And Lou Tice talks about this at the Pacific Institute. He talks about this as being cognitive dissonance. Here's where you are, the A situation. Here's where you want to be, the C situation. So if you stretch that out to where there's some tension, your subconscious mind immediately, and I mean immediately, goes to work to draw the tension closer, to release the tension. And so what typically happens is there's some forward motion. You may not get all the way, but there's forward motion. So you stretch it again, and there's forward motion. So you stretch it again. So you purposely create these big ideas, these big goals, to create the energy to drive the system. That's how we are designed, because the subconscious mind will work toward the solution. Now, part of the solution is your subconscious mind says, oh, no, 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 you can't do that. That's the voice in your head telling you, trying to release the tension. No, 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 we don't want to go for that. No, 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 we don't want to do that. But that, and then you got your willpower. I don't know, I think it was Suzanne, whoever it was, Barbara, who said, then just go after it. You make a decision and then follow through on it. That is what makes you different than an animal. You can actually make a decision and follow through on it. You can follow your own command. But you got to make a decision, and it's the decision to make that happen that creates the energy in the system. Until that decision's made, until it's a committed decision, I don't even know why we have to use this stupid word, committed. It should be decision is a decision. But in North America and the rest of the world, we've got to this point where we have to add another word to say what we really mean, which is a committed decision, which means it is a decision, a real decision. So whatever. A committed decision is you've made the point. You're going to give yourself a command. You're going to follow that command. And regardless of the resistance within your mind. I'm reading a book. Oh, I don't have, oh, yes, I do have it. I'm reading a book that I really, 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 really want to encourage everybody to go out and get and start reading it right away. This is the book. Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. This is Richard Brooke. He's going to be one of our keynote speakers at the convention in Toronto on Saturday at the Humans Being More event. So this book, it's interesting. He quotes Bob Proctor. He quotes Think and Grow Rich. He's got his own interpretation of that work as it applies to this business and his own personal experience. It's written for like a 5-year-old, so it's easy to understand, as he's done great work this way. I love this book. I think this book ought to be mandatory reading for everybody in our business. You're going to love it. And it's so chock full of great, great information. And it really helps you get a focus, get an understanding of the process. And one of the things he talks about is fall in love with the process. Because if you fall in love with the process, then guess what happens? A result. The result is a consequence. So fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the idea of introducing yourself to new people. Fall in love with the idea of doing a demo. Fall in love with the idea of answering objections. Have fun with it, like Wes was saying. Fall in love with that idea. That, oh, I can't wait till they give you the network marketing objection because I know exactly how to manage that, how to handle that, how to direct that. Fall in love with the process, and then you will not resist. You won't hesitate to talk to new people. Fall in love with the process. And the consequences are the consequences. So think about that. It's a great message in this book, and it's only one of the many messages. So please get that book and pass it out. Any other people who were at the event that haven't had a chance to speak yet, who were in Orlando? Anyone? I don't see you all on my screen, so I have to flip the screens here. Anybody who was in Orlando who would like to share their 2 cents about their personal experience there? Okay, it doesn't look like it. How about anybody who's thought of something since that they really want to share? And you have spoken already. Well, don't be shy, guys. You can unmute yourself and just jump in here.
I was not in Orlando, but I really like seeing, hearing, and feeling the fresh vitality that is happening, a resurrection, and I'm in it, and I'm so thrilled that we're all together doing this. We're going to really make it happen. It's really, really rocking. I can really feel it.
Well, we are making it happen. It is happening, and it's the product of consensus. We're all excited about our future. Yes, Igor.
Well, let me give you a stat that really shocked me. We all remember when we said, this is the next $1 trillion industry, right? And then when the book came out, the next $1 trillion industry, we figured out, oh, no, it's actually a $4 trillion industry. Do you have any idea how big the industry is right now? It is now morphed into a $20 to $30 trillion industry. So it goes along the line, thinking small will not serve any of us. It is so big that anything that we have had, for those that are longer involved, had experience or that you can imagine, is actually too small when you look at the potential that we truly have at our hand. And as I mentioned earlier, the most important thing is, how do you create a sustainable, simple, duplicatable system or process? That's what I'm in love with, is that the simplicity of the changes that have occurred make it possible to fall in love with a process that is actually explainable, leads to quantifiable results. That means you can put a dollar figure easily on the changes that were made with the packs, how people can get involved and how they can get other people involved so they can get actually their investment back, and not only that, be on track to moving forward to create a sustainable business for them and their future.
Wow, really succinct. I love that. Great. Yes, Tony.
I loved Sherry Danzig's little phrase, clarity plus activity equals Italy.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing that up, because our CEO and his team put together, in my opinion, the best incentive program I've ever seen in the 26 and a half years I've been with Nikken. I sincerely believe that. I'm happy for Leo in Quebec, who just achieved the Paragon Award. He's the first to do it in Canada this year. I think he may even be the first in North America to do it. It's late in the year for anyone to be doing a Paragon. We should have had a bunch already. But, the 4-minute mile, how that goes, right? It took Bannister one time to break the 4-minute mile, and then all of a sudden it was doable. So keep that in mind, that is a program, an incentive program that is a way to achieve the trip to Italy. It's just a simple process for achieving the trip to Italy, which everyone can achieve before the end of this year, especially somebody brand new who really just has to go platinum. And how many of you would like to have a few new platinums on your team? Man, just start dangling that carrot. I think can you imagine? I did a Facebook post today, a video. If you haven't seen my Facebook post today, go see it, share it. It's a video clip of the Amalfi Coast where we're going. And you just look at this and you're like, it's awestruck. I mean, it is absolutely probably the most beautiful place on earth I've ever been, for sure. So we're going there, and Nikken's paying. And you heard how magical the Japan trip was from those who attended Japan, and how it's an experience of a lifetime. Why wouldn't we make a point of having experiences of a lifetime often? This is what Nikken is trying to help us to take advantage of, and we should be, all over this. It should be something that is of prime importance to you, because it is an experience, and it would be an experience of a lifetime, because you're going to be with your Nikken family. You're going to be treated like royalty. You're going to experience one of the most beautiful countries on the planet and everything that's associated with that. Oh my goodness. And they want to do this for you. And they not only for you, But anybody you introduce this to who has more than enough time, if we just take the example that Sherry showed us in Orlando, we have more than enough time for somebody to achieve the rank of platinum. So guys, set that up as a goal. A goal is something that's written. A goal has a date with destiny. Put it on paper, even if you don't believe it can happen. If you watch my presentation a couple of weeks ago, Igor, I sent you that presentation. I said, please watch this. Give me your feedback. When do you comment on that? What was your feedback on that presentation that I did?
You know, it's almost like you know the excitement started for me. The point that you gave me that call and said, "Hey, could you listen to this and give me feedback?" I think I went right back and listened to it. Called you right back. I said, "Oh my goodness!" It's almost like, you know, I needed to hear that, and it's good for me to see for a leader like you know, that actually goes back and participates in something where he said, well, it's almost like, well, we know it, but we forget it. We forget it if we're not immersed in it. And then the value of what we had cherished so highly becomes almost meaningless. And I'm saying that because that's my own experience. I mean, there was a point in time where I said, oh yeah, I read that book. No, I haven't. Because if you read that book, if you do certain things, if you are in certain mind processes, there is no other way than to be excited about life, about the process, about being alive, about building something that is meaningful. And it's like, for me, it was at least, you know, kind of like, okay, and I have to thank my friend, you know, Mike, you know, for just like shaking me and, you know, doing the slap in the face, wake up, man. To get to that point again, you know, so.
And are we excited or what?
Oh, man.
I love going to dinner with Igor, and he's not coming up to Toronto enough, so I need to shake him to get up here. So, Wes, you had a comment, yes.
Yeah. There were I don't remember who said it, and I'm sorry I don't remember attribute it, but there were three things that make this work. And it's number one is your vibrancy. And secondly is their pain. But another point that's really, really important is tying it together with a collective vision.
There you go.
Getting on board, we're all going in the same direction. And but your vibrancy, without that, what do you got? And they have to have pain.
Absolutely. That's why can you smell it, guys? Can you taste it? Feel the energy on this call. If enough of us have this, you don't think we're going to be contagious? And so I want to just put this out to you. Let's visit often. This call is here for that reason, to visit often, so that we can experience each other's vibrancy, remind each other of how wonderful it is to be alive, to be associated with such amazing human beings, to be on a mission to make a difference in the world with a company that has vision and purpose, to have real practical and tangible tools like our products that deliver every time. Guys, I don't think it gets better. I don't think it gets better anywhere else. We just got to make the most of it. Yeah, Barbara?
I didn't hear the second comment. Your vibrancy and collective.
Their pain.
Their pain, thank you. And also, what presentation is Igor referring to that you sent him?
I believe it was 2 or 3 leadership calls ago. I was the guest with, it was right after the May. I was at the Bob Proctor event at the end of May, so it would have been the first call, I think, the first leadership call in July. Or excuse me, not May, in June. So it would have been the first leadership call in July.
Okay.
Exactly. It was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And not aligning with success.
No, it's the leadership call with Ben.
Okay.
So find that one. Please share that one. I honestly, I got off of that call personally, and I was higher than a kite. And I was like, I don't know what just happened to me, but man, was I on fire. Like I was just like so charged. So I think, and some of you who saw me speak in Orlando probably got a glimpse of that, because I don't know, I'm just lit up. And when I get lit up, it's fireworks. So I had fun in Orlando with my presentations. Anyway, guys.
Game on.
Game on. Guys, it is a long call. It's enough. It's being recorded, so I hope you won't feel to share this with your organizations. I know I'm going to share it with mine. I thank you for all of you who were in attendance in Orlando and have shared your vision, and those of you who heard about this, participating on this call, contributing to this call. Let's do this more often. All right, thanks, everyone. Have a great night. See you on the Nikken Highway.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.